Joy Guru to everyone. My topic for today, that is modern day depression, anxiety, and stress, is a burgeoning menace to the society. Modern day living is a multifaceted compendium of evolving science, technology, and development. As mankind reaches mass, so does the mind its threshold. We are so preoccupied with the hustling and bustling of life that we fail to realize that our brains are becoming more and more wary. If I must define today's generation, I can use several positive adjectives, few being they're fast, competitive, and goal oriented. But often these elements do not knock our doors alone, and along they bring their negative counterparts like overconfidence, ego, and performance pressure. Depression, stress, and anxiety are devouring our mental health like parasites. COVID-19 has worsened it a notch up. Fear and anxiety about a new disease and what could happen can be overwhelming and cause strong emotions in adults and children. Public health actions such as social distancing can make people isolated and lonely and can increase stress and anxiety. The pandemic has disrupted or halted critical mental health services in 93% of countries worldwide, while the demand for mental health is increasing according to a new World Health Organization survey. Let us look at some modern day examples of adverse mental health. Rahul is employed with the top MNC and is also the top performer of the quarter. Everyone is celebrating Rahul's success and achievement, but what we fail to notice are the countless number of sleepless nights he has had, the gradual alienation from his family, and the choking stress and anxiety that is screaming inside him. Similarly, Pooja is the topper of her class, and all we talk about is her exemplary marks in her scorecard. But what goes unattended is the surmounting performance pressure from her teachers, family, and peers that's slowly poisoning her from inside and pushing her towards a dark hole of depression. What can save us the unimaginable outcome? Even the colossal of ships are directionless without a captain. A person's life gets shaped and formed based on who or what is there at the center. An ideal centric life acts as an anchor in the worst of turbulences. To cope with depression, stress, and anxiety, one needs to heal from within, and spirituality has a pivotal role to play here. A glaring example is the tragic case of the famous Bollywood celebrity Sushant Singh Rajput. Despite having a seemingly perfect life, he could not fight with his complexes. And when his complexes got the better of him, he was coerced to take a drastic step. An ideal guides one to control one's complexes and not be controlled the other way around. I will share my own realization about this. With Thakur as my ideal, I feel I have an inbuilt alarm within me, which starts ringing every time I'm swayed to take an incorrect decision or a mistaken step, and I get immediately alert. Though we term this technically as sixth sense, but it's actually your idol who speaks to you as your conscience. As depression rises among adolescents and adults, more individuals are seeking help. And that help often comes at a cost of thousands of dollars a year in the form of psychotherapies, counseling, healing sessions, and so on. However, we often skip the underlying fact that our supreme beloved Sree Sree Thakur has already armed us to fight these nuisances with his simple yet life-changing coping styles and guidelines. These have always been in front of our naked eyes, but sometimes we fail to comprehend the healing beauty of them. Jajan, which translates to the self-exaltation, is nothing short of a healing therapy. It invokes spiritual awakening and instills spiritual consciousness within one. Often, sufferers of depression, anxiety, and stress slip out on sense of purpose, a sense of connectedness. Jajan can help regain the purpose to exist, to be and become. Jajan signifies the exaltation of others and works in the line of a counseling session where you are posing as a counselor for someone in need and molding him towards the path of light and peace. Through Jajan, we come across various tales of Sree Sree Thakur and his mercy and miracles. We develop a sense of positivity and hope within us, thereby strengthening a positive frame of mind. Ishtavriti means the auspicious oblation to ideal. It develops the art of becoming giving and submissive. When you start your day with a respectful offering to your ideal, you ought to feel a sense of goodness, a sense of satisfaction deep down. And to feel good about yourself, to feel whole, it is a step towards affirmative mental health. Through Ishtavriti, you are also continuously aligned with your ideal, who through your conscience guides you to distinguish between the right and the wrong. Let us now talk about Swastheni. Diet is such an important component of mental health that it has inspired an entire field of medicine called nutritional psychiatry. Harvard Medical School published that a dietary pattern characterized by a high intake of fruit, vegetables, whole grains, olive oil, low-fat dairy and antioxidants, and low intakes of animal foods was apparently associated with a decreased risk of depression. Thakur's Swastheni Vrata is a welfare scheme, where welfare begins with well-being, meaning welfare of the soul, and proceeds with becoming, meaning balanced growth, and is sustained with the blessings of the beloved, the most beloved Sree Sree Thakur. And it also emphasizes on avoiding certain foods that can accelerate excitement and aggression within us. If I must start to speak about Sadachar, then I must say cleanliness is next to godliness. Sree Sree Thakur said, hygiene is the practice of principles of living conducive to one's existence and growth. Hygiene has three aspects, namely physical, mental, and spiritual. One aspect is complementary to the other aspect. By practicing all aspects of hygiene, our nervous system becomes more receptive and responsive. Translated from Alochana Prasanga, Volume 7. We can only curb the trash out of our mind when our body and our surroundings are trashless. Nowadays, companies are taking a strategic approach to workplace mental health investments with dedicated and built-in meditation and yoga centers. Whereas we satsangis, we can chant the holy name even on the go without any structural requirement at all. Sree Sree Thakur has codified laws and rules for a healthy living at each stage of human life, that life becomes pure, progressive and prosperous. Thakur has mentioned in the holy book Satyanusaran. First of all, we must wage war on weakness. We must be bold and brave, for weakness is sin incarnate. This weakness can be as much mental as physical. When we submit ourselves in his lotus feet, we relieve ourselves from the ever-howling performance pressure, because we have invested our belief in the fact that thy will is good. I do not know what will make me good. Let thy will be fulfilled in me. It is often prescribed that a person suffering from mental health issues should have a wide support network who he can trust and confide in. Satsang is also known as a man-making factory, where we not only get familiarized better with our inner soul, but have a chance of developing an unseen bond with hundreds and thousands like us, who in turn only strengthen our support network and list of well-wishers. I have had my share of depression, stress and anxiety too, and I'm in no way an exception. But my complexes could never defeat me, as I'm a believer of an ideal centric life. Thakur has always held my hands and showed me the way. We believe that the members of Thakur family are all seers and all knowers. They are aware of the past, present and future. When I was quite young, Sree Sree Dada might have realized that my forthcoming life will not be all bed of roses. Once, when I went to visit him, he called me closer and told me to hold his hand as tight as I can. I was quite nervous initially, and with my hand shivering, I tried to hold his hand. He again reminded me to put as much pressure as I can. And finally, I exerted all I had. I still remember the radiant smile he posed after that, and he was suddenly very happy and told me very good. I was naive to realize the significance of that incident back then, but at this stage of life, I realized that he was trying to measure my core strength, my capability that day. He wanted to judge if I would be able to combat the upcoming obstacles in my life. And somewhere deep down, he was assured that I would overcome all of it. And that was probably the reason of that satisfied, radiant smile he posed. Several times I have encountered Reverend Babai Dada with oceans of stress and anxiety clouding my mind. But even without us uttering a single word about it, he has miraculously calmed me down. Sometimes even without a direct interaction with me, but through his discourses and remedies to others in front of me, thereby answering all single doubts I had in my mind. I would like to share a true story based on how Sree Sree Thakur can bring us out from the deepest and darkest sinkholes to light and peace. The famous writer Shishendu Mukhopadhyay, at one point in his life, was combating with chronic depression. He had almost given up hope when respected Ritvik Devta Selenda advised him to take the holy initiation and assured him that if he does so, his depression will get cured in 7 days. He accepted holy initiation, and soon a private session was arranged between Thakur and him, where he conveyed Thakur about his mental health and how he had lost all hopes. Thakur said him to not think about all that negativity. He must think that he is not subjected to decay, that he is immortal. Why should he think about death? After that enlightening session, he followed the principles of Sree Sree Thakur religiously, and miraculously, within 7 days, he was cured of depression. This narrative was later penned down by him in his book Kachet Thakur. What is this if not his mercy, if not his miracle? In the rat race of name, fame, success, and materialistic gains, we often invite in some unwanted guests like ego, performance pressure, impatience, and overconfidence in our lives, which in turn only increase the load on our minds and brains. But when we wear Him, the Supreme Beloved, as our crown, the pain and weight instantly fade away. We need to have such an idol before us whom we can follow and be fulfilled to the best of our requirement, and who can guide us in the most unerring way and relieve us of our mental agony. Continue to be under His parenting guidance. Keep following His principles. As Thakur has said, take to the feet of a true master. Go on taking the holy name and remain in the company of the devout. Truly I say, you have no more to worry for your elevation. With this, I would like to end my speech. Thank you. Joy Guru to everybody.